Time is the currency of your life. You cannot store it, you cannot print more of it, and you cannot borrow it back once it's gone. Every sunrise hands you a deposit of 24 hours, and by nightfall, that account is emptied, spent on something. The sobering truth is, much of it is squandered not through catastrophe, but through distraction. We live in an age where the noise is louder than the truth, and the urgent has replaced the important. Many are experts at managing other people's opinions, yet amateurs at managing their own focus. We chase news cycles, trends, and approval, while our calling waits quietly in the corner. We point fingers at the world, the government, our families, while ignoring the man or woman in the mirror who holds the power to change everything. Today is a line in the sand. Either you will continue giving away your hours to things that will not matter 5 years from now, or you will decide, here and now, to focus on the one thing you can control: yourself. Because the enemy's greatest weapon is not destruction, it is distraction. And the time to reclaim your focus is not tomorrow, it's today. Time is the single resource that every person possesses in equal measure each day. Regardless of wealth, status, or influence, we all receive the same 24 hours, no more, no less. Yet while money can be earned again, relationships can be mended, and possessions can be replaced, time cannot be recycled. Once a second passes, it is gone forever. This truth should instill both humility and urgency in the way we live. The tragedy is that most people treat time as though it were unlimited. We squander hours on meaningless arguments, idle distractions, or unproductive habits, thinking that one day we will get serious about what matters. But one day is not a date on the calendar, it is a myth. The only time you truly have is the moment you are in right now. If you continually push your priorities into the future, you will wake up one day realizing that the future you counted on never arrived. We must learn to see time as an investment portfolio. Each minute you spend is a deposit towards something, whether that's building your character, strengthening your faith, improving your health, or advancing your mission. The danger comes when your time investments are spent on activities with zero return. Endless scrolling, gossip, complaining, and aimless entertainment do not pay dividends. They drain you of energy and steal opportunities from the future. Being a steward of your time means you become intentional with it. This is not about living a joyless, rigid life. It is about deciding what truly matters and aligning your hours accordingly. Every great achievement in history began with someone deciding that their mission was worth the sacrifice of comfort and distraction. They understood that focus is not free, it costs you something. To give your best attention to the right things, you must deliberately say no to the wrong ones. Another reality is that time pressure is not always a curse. It can be a motivator. When you accept that you have a finite number of days on this earth, your priorities shift. The petty fades into the background. Your goals become clearer, your urgency increases, but not in a panicked, frantic way, in a purposeful, deliberate way. You begin to measure your life not by how busy you are, but by how much impact you're making with the hours you're given. Ask yourself, if I knew I only had 1 year left, would I spend my days the way I do now? If the answer is no, that is your warning signal. Change your patterns before your opportunities expire, because they will expire. The clock never stops, and the question is not whether you are spending your time, it is whether you are spending it wisely. Your time is your life, and once it's gone, it's not just minutes you've lost, it's pieces of yourself. Guard it, direct it, use it with intention. We live in an age designed to keep you distracted. The world does not simply offer you entertainment, it engineers it, tailoring it to your weaknesses and feeding it to you in endless streams. Every notification, every headline, every algorithm is calculated to grab your attention, not because it serves you, but because it serves someone else's agenda. Distraction has become one of the most effective tools to keep people from discovering their purpose. Most people don't lose focus because they're lazy. They lose focus because they've surrendered their attention to whatever is loudest. The problem is, the loudest thing is rarely the most important thing. We are constantly pulled into cycles of outrage, trends, and shallow amusements, leaving no mental space for reflection or deep work. And while you think you are staying informed or keeping up, the reality is that your life is being siphoned away in small increments, almost invisibly. Distraction doesn't always look dangerous. It often feels harmless. A few minutes checking your phone turns into half an hour. A harmless debate online becomes an afternoon of wasted emotion. A quick glance at entertainment media becomes a binge that robs you of an evening. This is the trap. You rarely realize how much is being stolen until you look back and wonder where your time went. The enemy of your growth is not necessarily destruction, it's dilution. When your energy is scattered, your potential is diluted. You cannot make meaningful progress on what matters when you are constantly shifting your attention from one meaningless thing to another. The modern world rewards speed and novelty, but growth requires depth and persistence. Depth cannot be cultivated in a distracted mind. Escaping the distraction trap requires deliberate boundaries. This means deciding when and how you will engage with technology, entertainment, and even people. It's not about rejecting all sources of information or pleasure. It's about refusing to let them govern you. If you cannot go an hour without checking your phone, or a day without consuming the noise of the crowd, you are not in control of your time. The distraction is. You must choose to become the master of your attention. This means scheduling time for what truly matters and protecting it as fiercely as you would guard your most valuable possession, because it is your most valuable possession. It means learning to say no, not just to harmful things, but to harmless things that pull you away from your mission. It means recognizing that focus is a discipline, not a mood. If you allow yourself to remain trapped in constant distraction, years will pass and you will have nothing to show but a memory of what you could have been. But if you reclaim your attention, even for small, consistent blocks of time, you will discover how much can be built, learned, and transformed when your focus is your own. One of the most dangerous mindsets you can carry is the belief that your life will change when other people change. Waiting for someone to give you permission, to apologize, to recognize your worth, or to open the right door is the fastest way to remain stuck. The truth is, the moment you hand over responsibility for your life to someone else, you also hand over your power to change it. Self-responsibility is not about denying that other people can harm you or that circumstances can be unfair. It's about recognizing that regardless of what happens to you, your response is yours alone. You cannot control how others act, but you have complete control over how you think, what you choose, and the actions you take next. Blame may feel satisfying in the short term, but it is a poor strategy for building a future. When you take full responsibility for your life, you stop waiting for ideal conditions. You stop saying, "I'll start when," or "I could have, if only." Those are excuses that mask fear and hesitation. The conditions you have right now, imperfect as they may be, are the only starting point you'll ever get. People who accomplish great things rarely begin in perfect circumstances. They begin where they are and take ownership of every step forward. Taking responsibility also means owning your failures without shame. If you make a mistake, acknowledge it quickly, learn from it, and move on. Many waste years trying to shift blame onto others, only to discover they've also shifted their ability to grow. Admitting your role in your current situation is not weakness, it's the gateway to change. Self-responsibility forces you to confront uncomfortable truths. If your health is poor, you must ask how your habits contribute to it. If your finances are a mess, you must examine your spending and earning decisions. If your relationships are strained, you must be willing to see your part in the breakdown. This kind of honesty stings, but it also liberates you from helplessness. As long as the problem is out there, you are powerless. Once you see your own role, you have something you can change. This mindset also builds resilience. When you know that your future depends primarily on your choices, you become less shaken by the unpredictability of life. Obstacles become problems to solve, not walls to hide behind. You stop looking for a rescuer and start becoming the kind of person who can rescue themselves. In the end, no one is more invested in your success, growth, and well-being than you. Others can encourage you, teach you, or even lend a hand, but they cannot live your life for you. The weight of your destiny rests on your shoulders alone, and until you decide to carry it with both hands, you will always feel like life is happening to you instead of being shaped by you. Self-responsibility isn't just a principle, it's the foundation of personal freedom. Comparison is one of the quickest ways to drain your joy, blur your vision, and sabotage your progress. It creeps in quietly, often disguised as inspiration, but before long it turns into discouragement, envy, or pride. The danger lies in measuring your worth, success, or progress against someone else's journey, a journey you cannot fully see or understand. When you compare yourself to others, you judge yourself by a distorted image. You see their highlight reel, not their behind-the-scenes struggles. You notice their current chapter, but not the years of preparation, failures, and unseen sacrifices that led there. In doing so, you set yourself up for frustration, because you're measuring your day 1 against their year 10. Comparison also distorts your priorities. You may start chasing goals you don't truly care about simply because they make you appear more like someone else. Instead of pursuing your unique calling, you waste time trying to fit into someone else's mold. Over time, this erodes your identity and leaves you wondering why you feel empty, even when you achieve what you thought you wanted. This trap works in both directions. Sometimes comparison leads to envy, making you feel small and incapable. Other times, it fuels arrogance, giving you a false sense of superiority over those who appear behind you. Both are dangerous. Envy robs you of peace, and pride blinds you to your own areas of growth. Neither moves you closer to your purpose. The truth is, there is no universal timeline for success, growth, or impact. Your journey is handcrafted for you with its own challenges, lessons, and timing. If you keep your eyes on someone else's race, you will stumble in your own. Every minute spent obsessing over where they are is a minute not spent moving forward yourself. Breaking free from the comparison trap begins with gratitude. When you choose to focus on the blessings, opportunities, and progress in your own life, the pull to measure yourself against others weakens. Gratitude shifts your attention from what you lack to what you have, and from what others are doing to what you can do right now. It also requires clarity of purpose. When you know exactly why you're on your path, it becomes easier to ignore distractions disguised as competition. You stop asking, "Am I doing as well as them?" and start asking, "Am I doing what I was called to do?" That question has far more power to keep you moving forward than any comparison ever will. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't grab attention like passion or creativity, but it is the quiet force that makes both possible. Without discipline, your potential remains locked inside you, full of promise but never realized. It is the daily, often uncelebrated commitment to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it, that separates wishful thinkers from those who actually see results. Many people wait for motivation to strike before they take action, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes with your mood, your circumstances, and your energy levels. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It doesn't ask, "Do I feel like this today?" It simply says, "This is what needs to be done," and does it. Over time, this constancy compounds into transformation. The truth is, discipline is not about harsh self-denial. It's about alignment. It is the deliberate choice to live in a way that matches your goals and values. If you say health matters to you, discipline is choosing the meal and the workout over convenience and comfort. If you say financial stability matters, discipline is saying no to unnecessary spending and yes to wise saving. If you say spiritual growth matters, discipline is carving out time for prayer, study, and reflection, no matter how busy your day gets. Small acts of discipline are deceptively powerful because they compound over time. Reading for 20 minutes a day might not seem life-changing, but over a year, it can equal dozens of books and hundreds of hours of learning. Setting aside even a small percentage of your income can, over time, create stability and freedom you once thought impossible. The results of discipline often seem invisible in the beginning, but they are always building something, until one day the payoff becomes undeniable. Discipline also guards you against the drift of life. Without it, you are at the mercy of your impulses and emotions. You may start with good intentions, but without consistent follow-through, you are constantly starting over, wasting energy and momentum. Discipline keeps you moving forward, even when progress feels slow. It turns short-term actions into long-term habits, and habits into a lifestyle. It's important to understand that discipline is not something you find, it's something you build. You strengthen it by keeping small promises to yourself over and over until keeping those promises becomes part of your identity. The first steps are often the hardest, but each choice you make in alignment with your goals reinforces your ability to make the next choice. In the end, discipline is freedom. It frees you from the chaos of inconsistency, from the regret of wasted potential, and from the anxiety of not knowing whether you're on the right track. It is the engine that drives growth in every area of life. Without it, even the best intentions remain idle dreams. With it, even modest beginnings can lead to extraordinary outcomes. The world constantly tells you to chase success, recognition, and wealth first, promising that fulfillment will follow. Yet history and experience show a different reality. Many who reach the top in worldly terms find themselves empty, restless, and searching for meaning. This is because achievement without alignment is hollow. True focus begins not with what you accomplish, but with who you are becoming and the values that shape your direction. Spiritual alignment means ordering your priorities so that what is eternal, comes before what is temporary. It is the choice to root your actions, goals, and decisions in principles that will outlast you, rather than chasing momentary gains that vanish like mist. Without this foundation, success can become a trap, pulling you further from peace instead of closer to it. When your heart and mind are aligned with what is right, your work gains clarity and purpose. You stop running in every direction trying to please the crowd and instead focus on the path you were meant to walk. You understand that every talent, opportunity, and resource is entrusted to you, not for self-glory alone, but for service and impact that carries eternal weight. Spiritual alignment also serves as a compass when life becomes chaotic. Without it, every setback can feel like failure and every obstacle like a reason to quit. But when your vision is anchored in something greater than yourself, even challenges become part of the mission. You see them not as interruptions, but as training grounds for character, patience, and perseverance. This alignment protects you from moral compromise. Many people, in their hunger for success, cut corners, sacrifice integrity, or neglect relationships. They may win the prize they chased, but lose themselves in the process. A spiritually grounded person understands that the manner in which you reach a goal matters just as much as reaching it. You can gain the world and yet forfeit what truly matters if your foundation is weak. Living in spiritual alignment does not mean neglecting hard work or ambition. It means directing that ambition toward purposes that matter eternally. It means asking before every decision, will this bring me closer to my calling or pull me further away? Will this choice strengthen my character or weaken it? When your answers are guided by higher principles, you not only achieve more, but you achieve in a way that leaves you fulfilled rather than empty. In the end, worldly achievement fades, titles are forgotten, wealth changes hands, and reputations shift. But the person you become, the integrity you guard, the lives you touch, the legacy you leave, those remain. Spiritual alignment ensures that when you look back, your success will not just be measured in numbers or trophies, but in the depth of the life you lived and the truth you stood for. Living with urgency is not the same as living in a frantic rush. Panic scatters your focus and drives you to make impulsive, shallow choices. Urgency, on the other hand, is a deliberate awareness that your time is limited and your mission matters. It is the decision to live intentionally today, without wasting precious hours on what will not matter in the end. Many people confuse being busy with living with urgency. Busyness fills your calendar, but urgency fills your life with purpose. A day packed with meaningless tasks may feel productive in the moment, but if it moves you no closer to your calling, it's just motion without progress. Urgency cuts through the noise, helping you decide what is essential and what can be left behind. Urgency begins with perspective. You do not know how many days you have left, but you do know they are finite. This should not cause anxiety. It should awaken clarity. When you realize that every sunrise is a gift and every hour is a resource, you begin to treat your time with respect. You stop postponing important conversations, waiting for perfect opportunities, or delaying the pursuit of your goals until some imagined future. But urgency without panic requires pace. It's not about sprinting until you burn out, but about moving steadily and intentionally. Consistent, focused action over time creates results far greater than frantic bursts of effort followed by collapse. The one who walks with purpose every day will go farther than the one who runs hard for a week and then quits. This mindset also changes how you handle obstacles. A person living in panic sees problems as catastrophic interruptions. A person living with urgency sees them as part of the journey. Instead of freezing or quitting, they adapt, knowing that every challenge still counts toward the mission if they respond well. Urgency fuels persistence because it reminds you that the clock is always moving, and quitting costs more time than persevering. Living this way also means refusing to give excessive time to the trivial. Not every argument deserves your reply. Not every invitation deserves your presence, and not every opportunity deserves your energy. Urgency teaches you to discern the difference between distraction and duty. It frees you to focus deeply on the few things that truly matter, knowing that trying to do everything will leave you accomplishing nothing. When you embrace urgency without panic, you become a good steward of both your energy and your days. You work with a steady determination, you rest without guilt, and you make decisions with the awareness that your time is not infinite. In the end, urgency without panic is not just a productivity skill. It's a way of honoring the life you've been given. It ensures that when the clock finally runs out, you will not be haunted by, "I wish I had," but satisfied by, "I'm glad I did."